Welcome to part 3 of making a mixed media journal. In part 1, we made this cover together. In part 2, we really grunged up some papers. Both of those videos can be found in the playlist in the description box below this video. And let me know if you have, in the meantime, tried this incredible paper dyeing technique and if you were happy with your results. And if not, just a quick reminder that these are also available in digital form. They're also linked below for you. So we have a mixture of some lace, some smaller elements like file folder cards, junk mail envelopes, random papers, different sizes. We have some extremely grungy vellum, which sounds incredible. And then we have these quite thick A4 sized papers. So our next step is to assemble some signatures. I think this is the most time-consuming step, at least the way that I do it, but it is the one that really makes a difference in a journal, in my opinion. So of course, I don't only want to use these kind of papers, I do want to mix it up just a little bit with other papers. So I have these prints left from dear Kimmy, who is my host our host at the Salt Lake City retreats this September. And she printed these on a laser printer at her office. Really great quality. These are my splatter and paint digitals. I'm not sure if I mentioned this before. So these are not on the actual print. Kimmy printed images on top of other images. These are all the originals, and she also printed this butterfly, which also is amazing quality. As you can see here, this was a freebie from December 2023, and I will link this freebie for you below as well. I love it so much, and this is definitely also going into this journal. And by the way, this is also the kit that I used for my inside covers here. So I'm going to cut these up, and I'll take you along my thought process of how I'm cutting things up. These as well as these papers. Let's see what we'll do with those. So as a reminder, this journal is based on the memory book I made for my brother's 60th birthday, where I had a lot of constraints because I was sent so much material to be included in the book. Like I had a huge stack of handwritten papers that had to go in and a huge stack of photos. So I didn't really have a lot of choice of how many pages, and I was completely overwhelmed by the whole process. Now I can enjoy more the freedom of just making the journal as I like. It doesn't matter how many pages because I don't have those kind of restrictions. I can put in here whatever I want to put in here. And actually, seeing the holes here now that I made, I really regret these. So my plan was to make a spine with canvas, glue the canvas onto probably on the inside of the cover, and then also to stitch in these holes. You can hear more about that in the first video where I talk about the cover more. But I just rewatched the flip through of the memory book I made for my brother, and I would have much preferred that. I could really kick myself in the butt for not having watched that more carefully when I decided to redo this project, because then I wouldn't have made the holes. But thinking about it, I can still have the same concept that I had for the spine there. I will go into that more when it's time to make the spine, which is definitely not now because I don't know how thick the book is going to be. Actually, it's totally fine because I can still do the stitching and have the spine like I had on my brother's book. No, it's all good. It's all good. I'm just kind of panicking, I think. Why? I don't know. It's my own journal. So let's figure out how to cut these pieces up. These I will leave for now because these are going to be more for decorative purposes, maybe page tabs, and who knows. So we don't need these right now. So I need to cut up these. I need to obviously cut up anything or fold anything that is larger than these covers, unless that's the look you want to go for. I mean, that could be another option actually. If you don't need your pages to be flush with your cover, if we think about having things just sticking out here and there, how beautiful would that be? Obviously, they wouldn't be sticking out here, but like so. I mean, that's amazing. That's kind of like the book I did with the story of my parents falling in love, which was this one here. I also have a video on this, I think parts of it, because this I made in a course by Alex Castro Ferrero. I will link whatever I have about this journal. I definitely have a flip through down below for you, as well as Alex Castro's website. She offers online courses and in-person courses, and she's absolutely amazing. I love this journal to bits, and you see here how everything is sticking out. I love that. The only disadvantage of this is that you cannot have it standing upright in your bookshelf. You know what I mean? That is something I really struggle with, because I don't have a lot of space to just have journals laying around, unless, you know, you could have a shelf if you don't have so much on the top, because this is super dimensional. You could, of course, have a shelf in your bookcase where you just stack the journals, and then you have all the spines just showing, laying down, which also would be actually a very cool idea. Maybe I will do that. Maybe I'll combine this style with the other style of the memory book and come up with something new. I'll definitely make the binding that I already have in mind instead of this binding. I mean, it looks so cool, doesn't it? But I don't think I'm going to make that for this one. Ooh, lots of inspiration. Sometimes it really helps to just look at your older journals, and then you feel inspired all over again. You'll be reminded of techniques that you haven't used in a while. Like, I think I definitely want to include some transparencies, but that's more for the things I will be adding to the pages and not the pages itself. Although, why not also include a page printed on a transparency? I haven't done that here, but why not? Okay, I will check if I actually have some transparencies, and also, why don't we add some fabric pages? So this is some dyed fabric that we dyed in the course with turmeric. It still comes off a tiny bit. Everything was yellow. It was incredible. But as you can see, the end result is so worth it. So, oh, I'm so glad I took this out, because this really inspires me a lot now. Okay, so I'll do things a little differently than I had planned before starting this video, but that makes me super happy. So I'm going to print one of the papers from my kit. I'm printing in color. I'm printing borderless A4. And for media type, I'm going to select also the photo. Wait, is there an ultra glossy? No. Oh, there's high gloss. There, we'll take the photo high gloss paper. And quality, in this case, I'm not doing best. On any other regular paper, I would do best quality, but since the ink is going to take a long time to dry, I don't want to add more ink, because that's what the best quality will do. It will just add more ink. I'm not going to do that for transparency. Hit print. So back to our desk. While that is drying, we can figure out some of these other papers. So with the new decision to not have the papers be within the constraints of the cover, but to have them sticking out, it gives us a lot more freedom with our paper sizes. That makes me super excited. So I will keep this on hand for reference for the size. Now, anything that is smaller, obviously I'm not going to worry about right now. An envelope like this is definitely larger. I just love the grunginess of this. So we could just have that like this, sticking out top and bottom. Yeah, and I have 2 of these, which are the same size. Oh, I just love this. So we could attach these like this and have both of them sticking out. Yes, I like that. So I'm not doing anything with these. The other option would have, of course, been to fold them and to use that as a signature page. But I would rather not fold papers, actually. I don't think I did that at all with the memory book, and I really loved the way that turned out. So these are good to go. We have another large envelope here. There's only 1 of these. This one is too big, or is it? I mean, actually it's not. Look how cool that looks sticking out. Let's leave it as it is. Oh, I love that. And we have these notebook papers. These, I think I'm also going to leave as they are. They are anyway, I think, smaller. Yeah, they're smaller than my cover, so I can just connect these. Yeah, totally fine. Don't need to do anything with these. Oh my goodness, this makes my life so much easier, and that's going to make the book so much more interesting. Let's just see if we have an even number. So 2, 4, and 6. Good job, Barbara. Oh no, there's a 7th one. I talked too soon. Okay, so I'll just use 6, and that one we can do something else with later. Oh, really, if you haven't tried this technique, please try it. I mean, this is just to die for. I don't even know which one to leave out because they're all amazing. Maybe this one. Okay, let's keep that one to the side for now. So we have 6 of these. These here, again, we could just leave sticking out. Maybe we'll tear the edges for some more interest. But actually, thinking about it now, I also want a few smaller pages. We could use these as smaller pages and just, yeah, let's cut these in the middle, both of these, because I really want a nice variation of sizes. So these are definitely too big. We have 3 of these. We have a B, C, D, and E. The height is exactly my cover. And if we cut them in half, oh, I like that. Then we have again a more narrow size, which will give us more variation. Yeah, so I'm going to, do I cut all of these 3? 2 of these I'll definitely cut in half. And then this one, should we make this a smaller one? Like cut it in half this way and this way. That'll give us 4 pieces. Yeah, let's do that. Oh, I just love this part of the process. And again, the middle. What do we do with these? These are just so intense. I mean, wow, when the light shines through, these are just gorgeous. And they look like craters on the moon or something. Do we make an envelope out of it, like a coin envelope? Then they lose the shine, you know what I mean? Because then I'm doubling them up and they just become opaque, weird things. No, they have to be used as single pages. Okay, that decision is made. fine. So what do? Do we just, if we do half, they'll stick out the tiniest amount, which is fine. Yep, let's cut both of these in half. And actually they will stick out more, I'm just realizing, because I'm not going to put them all the way to the edge, because with the binding I'm going to do, they are going to stick out more, which is good. Okay. And now these beauties, what do we do with you? I still love this little animal here. I don't want to cut his head off. It's so cute. When I showed these papers in the paper dyeing video, some of you saw some other animals, which makes me so happy. Wait, apparently there was a drag. Oh, was this the dragonfly? Yeah, I think because some of you wrote you saw a dragonfly. This could totally be a dragonfly. You see that? Oh, I didn't even notice that. How cool is that? Wow. Okay, we're not cutting up the dragonfly, that's for sure. Yeah, I think that's all of the creatures that are on these pages. Okay, let's make a decision here, Barbara. Stop procrastinating. So I'm thinking, I mean, the height is fine as it is. I don't want to just cut them in half. What about thirds? Or maybe some we do half, not this one because of the animal. But some, let's do, I want them more narrow. So yeah, probably approximately thirds. I'm not going to measure it so that we have a variation. Or we just, you know, some of them will cut maybe even this way. Let's see. It's really great that I'm not restricted to my cover size. And again, I feel okay cutting these up because I have digital versions of them. But still, it's hard to cut these up because these are the originals. And of course, they feel a lot different than the prints, but still, at least I have the prints here. So that will be one page. And then we're gonna have to cut this strip off because, as I said, I'm not cutting through that animal. So these two can be connected then. He's so cute. This strip we will leave for decorative purposes, or maybe to make a pocket, a tuck spot. We'll see. This one I think I'm just going to cut in half because I don't want to cut this up. Yeah, dragonfly, hello. Not so thrilled about this part, but it's okay, we can always cover it. This one is also amazing. I think I'll also just cut this one in half. And some of these where I don't, or maybe two of these where I'm not so happy about the insides. Let's just make coin envelopes, but these are gorgeous. This is gorgeous. This one I don't really like. This one is, yeah, so la la, but it's very dramatic. So I actually like that one. And of course, these sides are, I mean, this is not so great actually. Think about that one. But this one, let's make a coin envelope out of so that this will be the outside. So we'll leave that. And these, let's cut this one up. So this one I'll cut up into kind of like thirds. A lot of times when you're not happy with a full page, cut it up, and then the individual parts actually look a lot more interesting. I'll do the same with this one. I'm not measuring. It really doesn't matter. I don't need my pages to be the same size. And this one, should we cut it this way and then half, like half? Yeah, that will again give us a different page size. See these individual pieces now. How fun are these? Yes. Back sides. Wow, look at the drama. Oh my goodness, I love it. The one with the orange. I mean, this is more interesting almost than the whole piece. I don't know. I love the whole piece too. Just wondering if this is going to be too much for a coin envelope because the paper is quite thick. No, I'm not sure. We could make the coin envelopes out of something thinner maybe. And what do we do with this? Let's cut it up as well. Let's do thirds again. So as you can see, the difference between making a book in this style to making like a regular journal, for example, like I make my planners. With the planners and other journals, I just fold my pages like so, and very simple, very easy. But I really, really love doing it this way, even though it is so much more work, but I think it is so worth the effort to connect the individual pages, because alone by doing that, you're adding so much character to your journal. So yes, it will take so much more time, but wow, is it worth it. So then we have these prints, and I love that these are double-sided. So I'm going to cut these up as well. And also this beautiful butterfly. We can make half pages out of that, but there's nothing on the back side. So should we do something with the back side first? We probably should. Okay, let's make a mess. I'm going to go with this stencil. This is sold by PM Artist Studio. I unfortunately don't know who the artist is that made this, but I will link this stencil for you below. These stencils are made out of Yupo. And maybe we use this side. It's not quite wide enough for my paper, unfortunately, but we'll just do the best we can. Oh, wait, do I need... Oh, that's okay, actually, because the image is smaller anyway. So, ooh, look, this is perfect. That's all I need. I don't need it to go on the edges here. Yay! Actually, before we do that, let's mist our paper. Let's place this on it. And then, of course, I'm going to choose similar colors to the other pages. So I chose 2 eye zinc dye sprays by Seth Apter. One is coffee. One is honey. Then I'm going to take the Distressed Mica Stain Crooked Broomstick by Ranger and Tim Holtz. And we're going to try this Distress Oxide Spray in Black Suit, Ranger and Tim Holtz. This is going to be, I think, more of a gray than a true black because it is an oxide. I wish I had a true black. Well, I do actually have this Edding Permanent Spray, which is acrylic. I think, yeah, there's a tiny bit left in here. It stinks like crazy, so I'm not happy about doing this in my craft studio. But it's a beautiful, beautiful, opaque, intense black. I'll think about this. Okay, maybe we start with the lightest color, which is my honey. This paper has dried quite a bit already. Let's add some more. Then right on top, we'll add the coffee. And can I just say what I really appreciate about these eye zinc sprays? They do not clog. And it says here actually fast drying, no clog, just beautiful. Adding the Crooked Broomstick Mica Stain. Oh, wait, let me think about this, because this is always going to be the top layer. You know what? I'm going to do this. I have to do this. I know. You probably think I ruined this now. And maybe I have, but I just had to try this. And now let's put the Crooked Broomstick up. The smell on top. I'm going to have to open my window, although it's cold. Wow, I am so curious how this is going to look. Okay, are we ready for the reveal? Wowza. Wow, 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 wow. Yeah, the black was totally necessary. Should we spray it some more? Let's spray this because I want the color to move more. What an interesting combination. The acrylic and the inks. Yeah, see, if I wouldn't have used the acrylics, this whole design would probably fade now because all the other colors, of course, are water soluble except the acrylic ink. I am loving this. I need to order more of that spray. Probably best to use a mask because those fumes cannot be healthy. Does it need another like color variation? Maybe it needs, oh, I have to be careful. Oh no, I was just thinking I have to be careful not to get it on the back. Okay, too late. But actually it's fine because this image is a grungy image. So even if it gets paint on it, it actually only can add to it. Should I just put that in there? Yeah, we can have a grungy butterfly. It's fine. I feel like it's too flat still. So maybe we add some more coffee. Do we want coffee? Yeah, coffee is good. Maybe we add some of this black soot. You see that in comparison? It's a lot more gray. I'm not sure if that was a great idea now, but we can always make it less. This is crazy, but I think, you know, once we have two pieces, those are gonna look awesome. So this needs to dry. Wow. I have some plain copy paper. Let's see if we can get any of this on here. Let's mist it a little bit. I don't want to waste all that yumminess. Check it out. Yes. We can definitely use this as well. Wow, love it. I also have this junk mail envelope laying around. Let's mist it some more. I wish that black would come off, but of course that won't. Because that was the permanent acrylic ink. Okay. This is a wild mess. Let's add to that mess. See, I'm actually trying to clean the stencil off and now I'm adding more paint. More ink. What am I doing? This is like the never-ending story, right? And this is just a mess. Okay, that didn't go as planned. That's okay, it's still grungy. Had not planned on adding this envelope. We could, yeah, I'll make that decision later on. We have a grungy envelope. We can use it if we want to. Yep, we'll just let that dry. So obviously this black is not going to come off the stencil. So if you're very precious with your stencils, do not use acrylic sprays like this on them. I don't care. For me, it's a tool. It doesn't have to look pristine as long as it does what it's supposed to do. But of course, I am going to clean off the ink, all the inks, because once I want to use them for another project, I don't want to contaminate that project with these colors if that's not what I want in my project. While those papers dry, I'm going to cut up all of these. So I'll first cut off the white edge and then I'll cut them down randomly, I think. In the meantime, our transparency has dried as well. Let's cut this one in half as well. So we have a huge amount of pages here now, different sizes. This might be too much, but it's always good to have a variety to choose from. We have to take into consideration that there's nothing on them yet, no ephemera, no nothing. Yeah, I think it might be a bit too much, but that's totally fine. So the next huge task we have is to connect the pages, and some of these smaller ones I might not, especially these, might not use all of them as actual little pages, but some of them could be used as flip outs and be attached to another page later on. So next we need to pick out some fabric to connect the pages with. So I have my box of fabric scraps here. I want to use scraps as much as possible rather than tearing up bigger pieces of fabric because this drawer is too full. And I'm keeping the papers next to me so that I know which colors would match. And instantly I see this one is a great one. This is Tim Holtz. The colors are perfect and it's large enough to cut some strips out of. Jeans, maybe let's use some jeans, why not? This is also Tim Holtz. No, not loving this for that. So these are all too small. This would be amazing if I had more, but I do think I have more. Yes. Oh yes, that's a definite yes. Also Tim Holtz. White and black. Yeah, that works as well. This one is, oh dear. This one might be Seth Apter. This is Perfection. I mean, hello. Aww, this is the scrap left over from the retreat. Aww. I miss you girls, if any of you are watching. Okay, this is another one that is Perfection. Received, also might be Seth Apter, I'm not sure. It's hard to keep track of all of these, to be honest. She's so cute, isn't she? She was also gifted to me. Aww. She will have to wait for another project. This could be a winner. This is Tim Holtz, obviously. Yeah. Another Tim Holtz. This one is called Butterflies and Moths. Yeah, that's an option. I'm happy I can use these scraps. I don't even need to dig in to my other drawer. There's another scrap piece from the retreat. This one I don't think is gonna be ideal. No, not for this one. Yep, that would work. Oh, some of my rust died. I didn't even know I had this in here. See? Yeah, hello, definitely. That might already be enough. This is more of the other one that we had. Ah, there we go. Urban Grunge. That's the name. Tim Holtz. Yes, for sure. Whoops. Oh, here's some that I have coffee dyed. Love this one so much. I don't have any blue, I don't think, in here, but I still love this in combination, so that's a yes. I think these are all Tim Holtz. Yeah, this is gonna work. Oh yeah, that's gonna work. Yeah, we have plenty. And this one is obviously gonna work. It's also Tim Holtz. I'm happy I coffee dyed these. I coffee dyed these such a long time ago and they never fit in any of my journals, but this is the perfect journal for it. Yes. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at that. That is plenty. So we have a gorgeous selection of fabrics here that will all work with these gorgeous papers. I think I'm gonna skip the denim. I don't see that working here actually. So for this next step, we are going to tear up pieces of fabric in various lengths, in various widths, so that we have, again, a variation and we have room to play with. What I mean by that is, if we take these cards, for example, and we say we're going to attach them like this so that we can actually read what's on my print. We again need our cover as reference. So this one doesn't have a lot of wiggle room concerning the width. If I don't mind them sticking out, for example, this much, then I can just tear a fabric strip, which is double the width of this approximately. So I always need enough to, of course, lay on top of my card so I can actually adhere it. And for other pieces like these cards, if I'm going to use these as pages, I have a whole lot of wiggle room because they're not as wide if I actually attach them this way and not this way. So let's say I wanted these to be in the middle of my book and I don't want the tabs to be sticking out. So this is the distance I need plus an overlap. So let me just fold this to demonstrate. This is really bad because it's not folded nice, but you see what I mean? So I will need 2 strips that have this width because of course we have to attach both. So one on the back and one on the front. This is really bad because this is just folded. You know what I mean? So these 2 are connected. Whoops, yeah. These 2 are connected with this strip. Does that make any sense? So that this would become one page of a signature. I hope that makes sense. So the height of my strip is always going to be at most the height of the actual piece that I'm going to attach. They can always be smaller, so I could use a strip only like this. It won't be as stable as if I use the whole length. That could be another variation, but don't ever make your fabric strip longer than your piece because that will just look really weird. And we're going to need 2 of the strips for every pair that we want to connect, because of course we want this to look also nice on the inside because the fabrics are always just one-sided. I don't want this showing. So I need double of this for each pair. I hope that makes sense. I don't know. I think I'm explaining it very confusing. But what I'm going to do differently than with my other journals where I've used this method is usually I would cut these out or tear them and then individually sew around each piece. By the way, that is super optional. If you don't have a sewing machine, you can still use this technique. And because the stitching is just for decoration, it doesn't actually have a function. So I would go around each piece separately and then glue one piece. Let's say we want to connect these 2. So I would glue one piece on this side and I would then turn it around and glue the other piece on top here so that the fabric is on the outside of both pieces. But I'm thinking that is maybe not even necessary. Maybe I can make my life just a little bit easier and make this process a little bit shorter by sewing the 2 pieces onto each other already. And then we have the fabric on top of one side, and just like here, it will be on the bottom of the other side. So these edges would be showing on one side, but not on the other side. But we still need the stitching on both because even on this side, we're going to see the stitching on the top and on the bottom here, even if we don't see it on the edges because those are glued down. Do I really want to do this now? Talking about it, I'm thinking it's a shame because I'm losing the stitching. No, that is an option for you if you want to save time. But I'm just realizing, yeah, it would be a great time saver, but I really prefer the look where the fabric is on both pages on both sides. Am I making any sense? It will probably make more sense if you're confused now once I have all the pieces cut and sewn. So I will do that off camera. That's going to take me a couple of hours, I'm sure. and I'm hungry and I need to go to the gym. So I will see you back here once I have all of those pieces, and then you'll understand more of what I'm doing. It's actually the next day, and life kind of happened yesterday, and I did not get the chance to sew these fabric pieces together yet. And I realized after editing what I had already filmed that this video is getting already quite long. So I'm going to make a fourth part. We'll actually put the signatures together, then we'll make the spine and sew them into the spine so that we have a completed journal by the end. I can show you, however, the papers that we made yesterday. So one was this junk mail envelope. Not super special, but it is grungy, so maybe we'll use it. This here is just stunning. Especially thinking that this was just a byproduct. This is the back side. Super happy with this. And then the butterfly, I just love how grungy this turned out just because, you know, we put it in those puddles of ink. I love it now a lot more than before, especially look at these cool stains here. Ooh, so good. The back is not very spectacular. I had higher hopes for this. We do see these marks here from the plastic where it was laying on it, but there's not a lot of depth to it. There's not a lot of color variation. I could add some more sprays. Maybe I will do that, but this is what it is now. So the final installment for this journal for now is going to be in 2 weeks, because next week I have my Plan With Me video with my new paper kit. And then we're starting Defemorember. Can you believe it? So maybe some of the Defemorember ephemera will go in this journal, since we're not making journals this year for Defemorember. If you don't know what Defemorember is, I will link the info page and the playlist for you below as well. So hope to see you back here for any of these future videos. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and for listening to my thought process that goes into constructing a journal. Love you guys. Mwah! Mwah!